Hello, Eternum, and welcome to KOTT News, Eternum's #1 source for news. And this is the War Report. The citizens of Eternum may rise to the sound of minstrels performing across Eternum this morning as the second annual Summer Medley Faire gets underway. Citizens are reminded that they may pick up complimentary event tokens at participating hamlets daily. The traveling festivals can be found by following the searchlights at the usual locations around the island. Performers have already begun practicing for the big talent show that culminates at the end of the event. Citizens interested in helping with preparations and participation should speak with the maestro during dress rehearsals. But not all music festivals are authorized, as the crowd suppression zealots of Outcast sent tear gas into the hippie drum circle last night, disrupting the unlicensed music festival and preventing the inadvertent summoning of the giant desert worm. KOTT news crews were on the scene and spoke with a member of the crowd management squad. All right, so you were able to disrupt those hippies in their music festival. They were not able to take even a single point. I noticed that you were using your gas canisters and gas grenades to make sure that they were not able to continue beating the drum and perhaps inadvertently summoning the giant worm.
They played smooth jazz, John, and nobody likes smooth jazz. You know, the top jazz of like 19, whatever. It just isn't going to happen. So, we needed to exterminate. We brought out our boomsticks, loaded them up, and, just kind of shot over the fort fences to disrupt their little party that they had.
Well, and disrupt them you did. It didn't look like there was maybe 25 to 30 members of the hemp hippies out there, maybe as hippies do. Maybe not all of them showed up on time.
Yeah. The limp hippies or whatever. Yeah. I think there was like four. I think they just had a lot of headliners, John, and our headliner was, of course, Panda.
Of course. Was Panda out there at one of the stages, on stage at the music festival instead, or did they just not have enough people performing?
Well, Panda's always just there in spirit, and if he's not there, we usually have him on an 8-track,
Later in Reekwater, KOTT News were called to fill in for a fallen volunteer who had lost connection during the invasion event. The action was intense in front of the keep, but the all-volunteer forces of the Invasion Response Squad were able to hold the line on both fronts. But that doesn't mean relief efforts aren't necessary, as citizens are encouraged to perform mission boards in both Monarch's Bluff and Cutlass Keys. Tune in to a KOTT special live presentation on Twitch as we do our part to help out during the afternoon. And it should be a wonderful afternoon for doing so, as the sun will once again encircle the island from above, cleansing the land with its sanitizing rays. But look out after sundown for a low-pressure cold front sweeping in from the east coast that will break land and give rise to a 20% chance of additional corruption invasion. 3 lineup submissions for Simulated Fantasy Combat Resolution tonight, brought to you by LARPCO. Remember, if it isn't LARPCO, it's cardboard. With special thanks to the Craft Services crew. If you'd like to support KOTT News, Patreon is currently the best way. Up first, the Marauders of Dogged Down attack the Covenant forces of Suicide for control of the rain-drenched mountain region of Morningdale. Dogged Down forces executing their right to rematch make camp outside the keep in the mountains and begin preparing for battle against their attention-divided foe. The recently rebranded forces of Suicide are considering their options for tonight, but given their choices, there's no telling who they'll opt to defend against. Meanwhile, the legendary hero worshippers of Outcast assail the Marauders of Gorilla Town for crowning kingdom of the Western Monarch's Bluff. Turning around after dispersing the hippies from their shanty town in the desert last night, Outcasts step up their game and get ready for a real fight against a real adversary. Gorilla Town are coming off an unusually low-effort defense for them as well 2 nights ago, so they also have some pent-up frustrations to unleash tonight on the bluff. Simultaneously, the Syndicate members of Commit assault the Covenant converts of Suicide for control of the island's primary oil reserves of Weaver's Fin. Indifferent to the siege timers that Suicide set for themselves, The swamp people of Commit execute their right to rematch tonight as well, intent on reclaiming the Peat Moss Bog. Suicide with the luxury of 2 opportunities tonight, with either fight giving them the type of encounter they long for, but will they have to give up one to defend the other? Be sure to tune in for complete coverage and reactions from the citizens tonight at 11. Until then, this has been War Correspondent JChalant, KOTT News.